Welcome to the oral presentation for the MA in Photography at Falmouth University from Tim Stubbs Hughes. The past. I don't quite remember how I started in photography. I had returned from living with my father, a doctor in the army who was based in Hong Kong with his second wife and family, my half-brother and sister, to Fleet in Hampshire at 16 years old. I was attending Farnborough Sixth Form College through O-levels and A-levels, and I was working at places such as B-Jams, the Iceland of the day, a TV and video repair store, and then at Harrods in London, a Saturday job that became a summer job. I wasn't studying photography, but I was heavily involved in the drama department and sixth form productions as I aspired to head off to drama school once I had completed my A-levels. During one summer, I became fascinated by the idea of owning a camera. I don't remember why, and then spent that summer saving up and finally bought a Minolta autofocus camera, the most expensive thing I'd ever bought, and black and white film. I shot only in black and white. I read a few books, but treated this as something I did now and then rather than something I pursued or shared with others. The photographs and the taking of the images were for me. Over the next few years, I took pictures of who I was, where I went, and what I encountered. I finished my A-levels, but did not get into drama school in 1986, and instead went to North East London Polytechnic to do an HND in Business Studies. I was living in Romford first and then Ilford. I failed the first year of the HND, and in that summer I successfully auditioned for 2 drama schools, got into both, and chose the Manchester School of Polytechnic of Theatre, where I studied from 1987 to 1990. Throughout that time in Manchester again, I wandered with my camera now and then, affording film when I could, and sending it off to be developed, and not paying much attention to the results, other than sticking printed images in an album and writing text next to it. My main focus was the stage and theatre. Around 1991, 2 things happened. One, that I did a workshop with a Russian theatre director, Henrietta Yanaskaya, in Nottingham for 2 weeks as part of an international theatre festival workshop. And I sold my camera and lenses to get to an audition in London for a job which I didn't get. I fell away from acting, but moved towards directing. In 1994, I started a 2-year MA in Theatre Arts at Goldsmiths College, which culminated in a 3-month placement at Market Theatre in Johannesburg in 1996, a production in the London Fringe Theatre, and the formation of a new writing theatre company, Weaver Hughes Ensemble, in 1997. I had stopped taking photographs. The present. In 2009, after 12 years of directing, producing and developing new work, Weaver Hughes Ensemble closed. In 2010, I bought a Nikon D700. My current practice centres around arts photography, rehearsals, performance and reportage, and street photography, portraits for clients, business, artists and actors, and personal projects. The personal projects include the Edinburgh Festivals, which I've been visiting since 2012, and the Pessoa Myself and I project, which began on the City Lit Creative Practice Personal Project, 2016 to 17, and the Street Wandering series and Muse Model project, which started in 2015 and 17, respectively. Francis Ford Coppola says, "Everything I do is personal, and I have never made a movie that didn't have a very strong personal resonance." Theatre is part of my world and thinking, its process of analytical deconstruction, of placing the artist and their voice at the centre of the communion and communication between the performance and the audience. Throughout my theatre working life, photography and image making has always been there, from the publicity image to the production photos. And I know that in the productions that I have directed, the creation of a tableau or moment of heightened theatricality on stage is something that I have focused on, as I sought to define or highlight a character's journey or the dramatic moment within a play. Over the last 5 years, there have been many influences in my direction and pursuit of photography, as I have looked to develop my own ideas and techniques. Dorothea Lange says, "A camera teaches you how to see without a camera." Henri Cartier-Bresson, Diane Arbus, Dave Heath, Keith Carter, Dorothea Lange, Harry Callahan, Gary Winograd, Sally Mann, Brasserie, Don McCullen, Robert Frank, Saul Later, Ingrid Morath, Fred Herzog, Sophie Cal. These photographers bounce around inside, each demanding to speak, projecting their idea of what it is and what it should be, their famous images seared upon our consciousness, quotes from them and our analysis underpinning all that we think and do. Ansel Adams, "There are always two people in every picture, the photographer and the viewer." I have always been fascinated in the idea and philosophies of presence in yourself and within the world, how you inhabit your body and connect with the environment. This was very apparent in my theatre, particularly through Henrietta's teaching of resonance, irony, self-assessment and paradox. Whether it is the decisive moment or the ongoing moment, what feels important to me is the context and analysis of that moment. Henri Cartier-Bresson says, "To me, photography is the simultaneous recognition in a fraction of a second of the significance of an event." I don't believe at this moment I am able to separate myself from theatre, so I continue to approach my work and projects with the same attitude and practice, to ensure what is happening and to be present in the moment. Jeff Dyer says, "In photography there is no meantime. There is just that moment, and now there is this moment, and in between there is nothing. Photography, in a way, is the negation of chronology." The Edinburgh Festival Project. I have been visiting the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in August 2012 as a photographer. Before this, I was there as a theatre maker or publicist for my own work or others. For a few days each August, I have been wandering the festival, meeting with artists, visitors and workers of the festival, engaging with them to document their time and experiences at the festival. Conway Photography Group. Under the guidance of photographer Grace Gelder, I have been part of the photography group at Conway since 2016. Each year has been different in structure and objectives, starting with 2 sections in 2016 to an 8-month program of monthly meets and presentations on different topics and themes of photography. Each year has culminated in an exhibition at Conway Hall for the month of November, showcasing the work of the photographers and collaborators. This year we are presenting a design on Brickset Days, group work produced from the monthly sessions, and a personal project taken during 2019. Pessoa, Myself and I. This project was the result of a year-long process at City Lit under the guidance of Ian Tucknoth, with Simon English and Annie Atteridge. Within the year-long process, I explored the poetry and writing of Fernando Pessoa, 1988 to 1935, my photography, and images of myself. The final exhibition was the creation of a short video and an installation of a workstation with images, text, and memories from myself and from Pessoa. When Pessoa died in 1935, at the foot of his bed in the trunk was discovered 25,000 pages of unpublished work. In the preface of his book of Disquiet, Pessoa wrote about himself, Nothing has ever obliged him to do anything. He has spent his childhood alone. He never joined any group. He never pursued a course of study. He never belonged to a crowd. The circumstances of his life were marked by that strange but rather common phenomenon, perhaps, in fact, true for all our lives, of being tailored to the image and likeness of his instincts, which tended towards inertia and withdrawal. The future. This section still to be written. Street Wandering Project. This is at the heart of the work that I'm currently producing and forms the core direction of my project and the process of the MA Photography course at Falmouth University. My current feeling is to continue to explore this concept of examining my own presence and my existence within the readings and writings that I wish to develop and undertake, and to bring into this idea the idea of absence. In essence, to explore my own self, my own writing, my own poetry. Anton Chekhov says, the role of the artist is to ask questions, not to answer them.